card background, I embossed it and then I inked it with a new ink from Clearsnap called Surfacez, which works on plastic or any kind of non-porous surface. So it's a solvent-based ink. So this is what it looks like. It's brand new. It comes in a metal tin. And I just inked it over the raised parts here. So the first thing I'm going to do is some heat embossing, just to kind of give this tree some dimension. So I'm going to take my, I have like a music stamp here, and I'm going to ink it up with some Watermark Twinkle ink, and this is the pearl color. It's basically a Watermark ink, which is kind of clear, and it will give a darker impression wherever it's stamped. That's what a Watermark ink does. It gives a watermark, and you can use it for heat embossing. But the Twinkle has like a sparkle or shimmer to it that regular Watermark just doesn't have. So if you use this on its own and heat set it, then it would be, oh, there was some ink residue on there. If you use it on its own and heat set it, then it would be just shimmery on its own. So I'm going to stamp this tree, and this is just a tree that I die cut from the SeaGlass. And you can see the ink more because there happened to be some black residue in here. I don't normally put my stamps away dirty. Alright, so what I'm going to do now that I have that all inked up is just use some clear embossing powder. This is also from Clearsnap. And cover that all. And this is going to give this kind of a resist effect. And the reason I'm using Watermark Twinkle ink and the embossing is because, again, it gives it that glistened, snowy effect that we want for our winter and Christmas craft projects. So I'm using a craft funnel right now to put this embossing powder back into the container, and just a sheet of white paper. And these craft funnels are also sold by Clearsnap. They work great for trying to put powder or glitter into small openings. Alright, and what I'm going to do is stamp this sentiment onto my card using the Surfacez ink. So this is the ink in black. And even though it's wood grain, I'm going to see if I can get it to work. It came out pretty good. And I think I'm just going to stamp it 3 times. That way it looks like I did it on purpose if it gets messed up. There. Alright, what's nice is that this solvent ink dries right away. So there's no ink on my finger. I can touch it and there's no ink there. So that's great because you don't want to get like a solvent ink on other things and get it on your hands, and it's permanent. So it's awesome. I can't tell you how much I love this. Alright, so now I'm going to ink the edges of this little guy with some ColorBox fluid chalk in black. This one's actually Blackbird is this color. And this is just to give it a little bit more dimension. And I'm going to adhere that to my card front with foam dots. So I'm going to pop this up with some foam dots on here. Just to get it to stand out a little. And I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp it with the rest of the Watermark Twinkle ink that's on this stamp. I just have to make sure that the edges get done really well because that's mostly what's going to show. This Rowlux film is translucent, so you're going to see some of the things behind it, but it's not crystal clear, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, awesome. And I'm just going to heat set this because again it has the Watermark Twinkle ink in it. Alright, now I can put my card base on. And what I'm going to do is add some hot glue to the Rowlux film right behind my Christmas tree. And that's going to help hold this all together. If I used hot glue here, what would happen is it would seep, or it would show underneath the embossing, and I do not want that. This Bazzill adhesive works really good. It doesn't seem to show under the Rowlux. Alright, now I'm going to glue on some of my little snowflakey items. These are like little plastic miniature ornaments you can get at the craft store around Christmas time, and I just cut the little circle ends off. And then I also have some sequins. Now the sequins, you have to be pretty careful with the hot glue because they melt, just like this one did. Whoops, I'm just going to double it up. This is regular acrylic paint, and I put just a tiny bit of water in it. You don't have to. This one just happened to be kind of old and dry. And what you're going to do is kind of just use the bottle of paint and squirt it on the top of your item. Then tilt it, and you can kind of shake it. Kind of shake it to get it to start doing drips. And then where you want it to drip more, put more paint. And then once you're satisfied with the drips, lay it down. Now you could do the same technique for Halloween too. Now while it's still wet, we're not even going to use any glue with this glitter. We're going to put the paint or the glitter right on the paint. There's a stopper that comes in this shaker so that it doesn't get everywhere when you're transporting or storing it. So I just remove the top from the shaker, and I'm going to sprinkle on my glitter. And I think I want to add a little bit of paint to my tree too. So again, just with the end of the paint, you're just going to add it to your tree. And then you can let it drip. And then again, add some fairy dust glitter. And then gently tap off the excess and lay this somewhere to dry.